Hey everyone, Victor here coming at you with 5 reasons why you should consider becoming a map developer. So first of all, you got to pick a niche when you're going to be a developer. You don't want to just be like a front-end developer or a back-end or full stack. That's way too broad. You got to pick something that you're going to specialize in. I've loved specializing in maps. It's a great niche because it cuts across almost every industry that's out there. I've worked in maps to do with sports, mapping golf courses. I've worked in maps to do with outer space, mapping satellites. I've worked with industries mapping their sales across lots of locations, trying to find new locations, route optimization, AI automated driving cars. I've worked with activists, historical data. I've worked with ecologists and biologists. I've worked with, you get the idea, you name it, and there's a way that people are using maps in almost every industry in the world. So mapping is a great niche because you never know where you're going to end up working next, and your skills are just so useful in so many different companies. And one of the great things about the mapping niche is it's very specialized. There's a lot of specialized terminology, there's a lot of specialized data, and so it's not a shallow niche. It's something you can go very deep into, and at every level, your skills are going to be really valuable. Reason number 2 is the map community. The mapping community is one of the nerdiest and most passionate communities out there. Mapping's been around, humans have been doing it for a long time, whether that's drawing lines in the sand to indicate where you came from, all the way up to these really complex three-dimensional models of maps that we have all over the place. Maps communicate all kinds of political information, cultural information, they communicate ideas and time, and people have just been so into maps for so long, and map heads just love them. So when you're into maps, you really join a special community, and one that's been around for a long time, with all ages and types of people in it, and those communities are really vibrant and alive, and people will really be excited about the things you make, and that's really fun as a developer. And they'll also be around to help you when you get stuck. So reason number 3 is that it's a niche, again, that cuts across a lot of technologies, not just industries. So you're not just going to learn how to map. You're going to learn JavaScript. You're going to learn back-end and database development. You're going to learn how to do front-end design and displays. You're going to learn to work in mobile apps. You're going to learn to work with APIs. You're going to learn to work with big data. Potentially, you might learn to work with AI. And there's just so many technologies that are needed when it comes to really fleshing out your mapping skill set that at the end of your specialization into mapping, you're not just going to be a map developer. Front-end design of web interfaces is going to be so easy to you because mapping interfaces are so much more complicated. Making a map mobile friendly is much harder than making a website mobile friendly. There's a lot more information jam-packed into a map that you have to think about, and a lot more interaction than something like scrolling a page. So you're going to end up being an even bigger specialist in all these other areas just as a result of learning how to do it through the angle of mapping. Number 4 is that you're going to make pretty things that people actually look at and that people actually want to use. So if you're a totally back-end spatial developer, maybe you're not making the pretty things. But a lot of us doing the developer stuff are actually going to see the result of our work. We're going to be able to use it and play with it. And mapping is one of those things that's really visually gratifying. You're going to have an actual map. You're going to be able to play with colors and labels, and it's going to have interactivity, measuring. There's going to be analytics on it, data display, 3D stuff. You're going to be able to get a real kick out of what you're making, and not just you, other people will as well. And if you build it well, it'll be something that's actually truly useful to people. One of the frustrating things we sometimes run into when we're doing development is we get given tasks to build things, and those things end up being kind of just exercises in futility. Nobody really ends up using them. They're clunky even as an idea, and something much simpler would do the trick. You know, maybe sometimes all you really need is an Excel spreadsheet. You don't need a whole application to save your data. But when it comes to a map, if you build it well and it's, it is reasonably useful, it is going to make a huge change in how people are consuming their data. For instance, going from a spreadsheet layout of locations or sales or something like that into a map view, just changes people's minds completely. And you're going to get a lot of respect and a lot of praise for that, which is always great to have as a developer. So number 5 is that I don't think mapping is going anywhere. I don't think this is a role or a technology or a subject that's about to be obsolete. Now, that being said, specific technologies you're going to learn in this, whether that's Mapbox or GeoJSON or PostGIS or tiling in general, these could go somewhere. But the principles you're going to learn behind it and the specific terminology and the specialized language that you're going to use isn't going anywhere. The ideas of measuring spatial distances, of knowing the location of people and objects around them, is really important regardless of what technologies we can see in the horizon. If that's a whole bunch of metaverse type stuff with VR or augmented reality, in these, it's crucially important that people's locations and their relation to other objects is central. And essentially that is mapping. That is spatial mapping of someone's area, of someone's virtual world. So I don't think that mapping is an industry that's about to die out or that's going to be automated away. Mapping, I think, has been around for so long that it's really core to the human understanding of where they are in the world and in space more broadly. So I think it's a great industry to be in. I think it's a great specialization to niche into if you're a technologist or a developer working in some very general field and you're trying to find out where to specialize. It's good if you have a good sense of direction, but you don't need it. And it's good if you like pretty maps. If you ever found maps fascinating or interesting, whether that's in fantasy or just looking at maps as you're traveling into new countries and getting creative with where you want to go, maps are a great way to go. So I hope this has given you a couple ideas of why map development might be something that you're interested in. And, check out some tutorials on this channel to kind of get your feet wet if you're already a developer. And leave a comment below if there's other reasons why you like mapping. If you're not sure if you should get into mapping, just let me know. I'll be happy to respond. Catch you later.